What is going on, people, and welcome back to the channel. Today we are here to talk about the vital part of Manchester United's summer transfer plans, the midfield rebuild. What we're going to do in this video is we're going to look at the top 5 candidates. I'm going to rank them 1 to 5 in my personal opinion. I need you to get down in the comments, let me know whether you agree, disagree, and put your top 5 as well, because I think a lot of people will have different opinions on this. You'll have different rankings, you'll have different styles you want us to go to. So I'm interested to hear all of that. Now, the current top 5 for me, in my eyes, is Elliot Anderson, Carlos Baleba, Adam Wharton, Sandro Tonali, and Bruno G. That is the top 5. And it's no surprises to me that all of them are Premier League proven footballers. That is an avenue that Ineos clearly want to go down. It's clearly an avenue we went down last summer, and I think that is how they're going to look and retool this Manchester United midfield. Now, in at number 5, and this is weird to say because he's arguably got the highest ceiling out of all of these players, and that is Adam Wharton. So what is Adam Wharton? Adam Wharton is a metronome, he's a technician, he's a progressive passer. He's not a ground cover, he's not a defensive duel monster, he's not an aerial monster. And for me, that is the reason why I think he's number 5 on this list. I have no doubts in my mind that Adam Wharton comes in and looks exceptional on the ball for Manchester United. Looks brilliant next to a Kobbie Mainoo when it's all in tandem. He's threading balls through to Bruno Fernandes and we score goals doing that. But it's the other side of the game where I think it outweighs his possession ability. And that is the defensive side of the game. We are losing a lot in terms of aerial and defensive nous from Casemiro this summer. We need to try and replace that. For me, Adam Wharton is the worst defensively on this list. And that is why he's bottom of the list for me. That's not to say I don't want us to sign him. I would love Manchester United to go out and sign him. But there's also the element of we'd need to go and sign one more to really rebuild this Manchester United midfield. Now, number 4, and this is the polar opposite to Adam Wharton, it's Carlos Baleba. And he'd have been number 1 on my list last summer because he is a ground coverer, he is good aerially, he's a physical specimen, and I thought that is what Manchester United needed in midfield. And I still do, in parts, I definitely still do. But for me, what has let down Baleba is this season and his current form. Too many times I've watched Baleba this season look lethargic, look lackadaisical and disinterested almost to play for Brighton. And they're going to command a fee upwards of 70, 80 million pounds. I have no doubts about that. For that price tag, you're expecting someone who can come in and start every single game for Manchester United. I don't know if Baleba could. I don't know if he's got the on-the-ball ability currently to come in and be the player that picks the ball up off the defence and transitions this Manchester United team. I genuinely don't. And that might be a bit reactionary to his form this season. It might be a bit over the top. But for me, you have to show it before you come into Manchester United. And he just hasn't done that this season. Similar to Adam Wharton, would I like Manchester United to sign Baleba if they were to sign a Wharton as well, or maybe a Steeler who can come in and control the play? Yes, I would, because I think it brings a raw physicality to this team that we are severely lacking. But I'm looking at this as the whole package, a singular midfielder. Is Carlos Baleba the number 1? For me, he's not. Now, in at number 3, and it is just Sandro Tonali. Now, the top 3 for me is closer than what the bottom 2 is. Sandro Tonali, I really highly rate. 25-year-old. He's good at virtually all phases of the game. He's not really an expert in terms of controlling, but he is an all-action midfielder, similar to the other 2 that are coming up on the list. And I think he'd bring personality. I think he'd bring leadership. I think he'd bring a certain level of quality to this midfield that we are lacking. Now, my number 1 doubt about Sandro Tonali, well, there's 2 doubts actually. One of them is the off-the-field stuff. We've seen the allegations and the stuff that went around previously. I just don't want that kind of drama at Manchester United. Sandro Tonali would be a brilliant player for us, but if that type of stuff comes up in the media again, it will be front and centre, and it will be really difficult for him to kind of pick up his career from that point. And then there's the other element. I just don't think he's quite enough of a controller and a leader in that midfield. He kind of plays second fiddle to the man that's coming up soon in that Newcastle midfield. He kind of will do the other bit of the game where Bruno's not really playing, whether that's attacking, defending, on the ball, whatever. He kind of plays second fiddle. I need someone to come in this summer and be the man for this Manchester United midfield. Come in, stand there and say, give me the ball. That's what I am. Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball. And I don't think Sandro Tonali is quite that. I would still love us to sign him. I think he'll be expensive. I think he'll be upwards of £90 million because Newcastle aren't going to be bent over, especially for Manchester United. But for me, he's third on the list. Now, number 2, and this one might surprise you a little bit. I've gone for Elliot Anderson. He's top of the list for most people, isn't he? He's been exceptional this season for Notts Forest, and he's seemingly the one that is a bit more of an all-rounder, and he's got this kind of progressive passes, this progressive range, but he's also got a tempo in terms of it carries through that Nottingham Forest team. You see when he goes and he covers ground, the whole team goes with him. That is a quality in itself, making other players better around you. And I think Elliot Anderson, to a certain extent, is doing that. But I've watched Elliot Anderson a couple of times this season, and I thought he's tried to be rangy with his passing, and it hasn't quite worked, and he's kept on trying it. And there needs to be an understanding in this midfield. You watch Casemiro, he'll try a couple of them, and you'll think, bloody hell, Casemiro, what are you doing? And then he'll just keep it simple. Elliot Anderson gives off the vibes that if he came to Manchester United, he'd try and do this Hollywood stuff. And I don't think that's necessarily what we need if he can't do that. Now, that seems a bit of an odd statement to make, but that is just my personal opinion on him. Again, would I like Manchester United to sign him compared to someone else? Probably, yeah. Yeah, he's second on the list for a reason. He's second probably to the best footballer on this list currently all round. But for me, that is the one downside. I just see an element to his game that I'm not 100% set on. Number 1, Bruno G. He's in his prime. He's 26, 7, 8, something like that. He's right in his prime. He's the best footballer on this list. He's the best all-rounder. He's the best leader. He's probably got the most experience across the board, maybe barring Tonali. For me, Bruno will come into this team and he will be an absolute fan favourite because he's tenacious, he covers ground, he scores goals, he gets involved. And I think this midfield would have a really nice balance to it. Now, is he perfect alongside of Manu? I don't think he is because he's not a physically imposing, dominant midfielder. Now, I would like Manchester United to go out and sign another midfielder who can be that kind of aerial monster because Bruno's definitely not that. Manu's not that. But as a midfield collective on the ball, all of them players are such a high level. Manchester United would look dramatically better in terms of breaking down teams because it's multiple threats, isn't it? In terms of this midfield currently, you think, right, Bruno Fernandes is a star man, isn't he? Casemiro, if you can stop him passing the ball, he's not going to travel with the ball. He's not going to do that. Kobbie Mainoo doesn't necessarily have the range currently. Bruno's a bit of everything. Bruno, if you let him run, he'll run. If you let him pass, he'll pass. If you let him dictate playing short-term passing, he can do that as well. And like I say, he's an absolute leader. And I think that is what Manchester United probably need in this team. We're losing a bit of experience with Casemiro. We're losing a bit of experience maybe with Harry Maguire if he leaves the team. So I'm just a little bit concerned about bringing in one of them younger players and expecting him to be the man for this Manchester United team. Do I think Bruno is the solution? He's going to win us a title? Not necessarily. I think we'd probably have to go out and sign someone else. And I would probably like someone like an Andre Onana. Yeah, let's put Amadou Onana from Aston Villa, a player who I really, really like, really physical, dominant, 6'4", goes in there and just looks like an absolute beast. I'd love us to sign someone like that alongside of Bruno G. I think that'd be really sensible from Manchester United. That's it. That's my top 5. Get down in the comments, let me know. A lot of you will disagree. A lot of you might agree with me, which would be nice. But get down regardless and let me know who you think is your top 5 out of them midfield candidates. And I will see you in the next one.